Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw. It's the only wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. We're available right here on YouTube, on the iTunes, on Stitcher Radio. Currently, we have a Machinima recap show over there on Machinima every Tuesdays and Fridays. So if you want to know more about our thoughts about more stuff, then you can go there. We've got, be sure to hit that download and subscribe button.
And review
the show. I always like reading the reviews. Steven Larson got us back into wrestling.
That seems to be pretty common.
I love the ones that say, I don't even watch Raw, but I watch the show. It's a fair assessment. That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes Raw is a slug to get through.
Yeah, it's kind of boring sometimes.
It's like being in, what do they call it when you're in the swamp, in the marsh? Just slogging through.
Yeah.
It's the slog, right?
Yeah. But last night was pretty good.
Last night was actually really entertaining. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're also on Patreon. We're joined right now by 36 people watching us live. This is the live stream version. For $1 a month, you can watch this once a month live. For $5 a month, you can check this out live every single week and get a weekly bonus episode.
$10, you get all that stuff. Plus, you get a vote on the theme of each week's Kayfabe Corner.
Plus, you get a signed postcard. These just went out.
The first round, right?
Yeah, the first round just went out the other day. So you get one of these bad boys. At the $20 mark, I'm so close to being done with this stupid comic book of ours. Like, I thought it was going to be done a while ago. We got a care package, Steven Larson care package, including a comic book with the Going In Raw cover variant. Because we're going to release the care package to anybody who wants it. But at the $20 mark, you get the exclusive Going In Raw cover variant, along with some added incentives in our little care package. We're putting all that together. We're going to have it hopefully very shortly. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
plus
$50 you get a t-shirt.
Oh, at the $20 mark also, you get to put your ugly mug right here on Going In Raw. You get to submit video questions. We've got two. Is that right? Two video questions?
We have two video questions.
Or two today, or three? Correct? Is it two?
Two.
All right, we got two video questions today. Those are always a lot of fun. You guys can see your ugly faces here on Going, or maybe you're pretty. I don't know. Maybe you got a good looking face. And you can put it here on Going In Raw. You can ask your question in video form. So yeah, that's that. $50 mark. I got a really cool shirt coming up. We just got to get those made and sent out. Got a lot of stuff going on here at Going In Raw. It's a lot of fun. It's a real community we got going on here. So anyways.
Let's talk about Raw then.
For if you haven't seen the show before, this is the stinger, the noise stinger that I do. It's very professional sounding.
Raw cap.
It landed with a bit of a fart there. Like we said, Raw was actually really entertaining.
Well, most Raws are quality when they open up with Seth Rollins in a suit. I think of any wrestler on the WWE roster right now, no one wears a suit as well as Seth Rollins does.
Especially because he's freaking jacked. He's jacked these days.
His calves look a little small though. I'm worried about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know, because he's wearing sort of skinny jeans or skinny pants,
skinny slacks,
and
his calves look a little thin. So I'm worried that he might be too massive up top, and then his legs might be a little thin. That's going to cause more problems for him.
Well, I trust in the CrossFit Jesus Larson.
No, I
feel
do too.
like
I do too.
He knows what he's doing. I agree with you. I always have concerns, especially when somebody gets injured. I'm always like, man, I don't want to see his knee explode again. I don't want to see that. Same with Enzo last night when he came back. I didn't want to see him get his bell rung again.
Did you watch the video of Rollins hurting his knee?
Did I? I know I saw like stills. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I actually brought myself to watch. I think I saw one still where it looked like it was buckled in. And yeah, I don't know if I can bring myself to watch that stuff anymore. I can't. I'm so soft. I can't watch replays of injuries. I can't. If somebody says, "Oh, look at this gruesome soccer injuries," are like the friggin' worst, man.
Bad.
Ooh, those are bad. I can't do that anymore. I'm too SAWFT.
Soft.
Yeah,
the video didn't look good.
Yeah, I know.
Rollins hurt himself.
But he's back, and it was exciting. The question on everybody's mind was kind of, is he gonna? Because whenever somebody like Seth Rollins, who people love to boo, but everybody knows that he's a great performer.
Yeah.
Same thing Triple H, 15 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, 20-ish years ago.
Yeah, when he came back, people popped massive for him. So we knew, and it took him a little while to become a heel again. He did it. It took him a little while. Seth Rollins, we knew he was going to come back as a face. He wasted no time in running down that crowd, trying to firmly establish where he was when he left, picking back up from where he was.
And going forward a bit in the show, there was an interesting interview with Renee Young and Seth backstage, where he was kind of doing the same thing in terms of really being more heelish until he runs into Steph, and he goes to Steph and tries to give her a hug, and she's like, whoa, that's not how we do business anymore.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they're teasing something there, whether it's Steph being more of a face to work with Shane,
Right.
or if they're teasing kind of like the sea change in terms of the structure of stuff, and Rollins isn't in the same place, so maybe there's some sort of face turn there. I don't know. I would be surprised if he's heel strictly for this feud with Reigns, and then gets into another program afterwards and starts to go down.
That'd be really weird. That'd be really odd if he went straight from, if he came back with the easiest face turn in the world, and then became did what he could to be heel again, and then had to go back. That'd be kind of odd to do.
I look at everything they're doing in the main event scene, all from the point of view that they're doing everything they can to put Reigns over as the number one face.
You know, man, that just bugs the crap out of me, because I think
I think that way.
No, that I think you did. If that's the case, and I think there's a good chance that is the case. It's funny, you have to sort of separate what you read about what's going on behind the scenes, because you have to take that stuff for the most part with a grain of salt. Last I read, Vince was cooling on the Roman Reigns experiment, and Triple H was still really firmly behind it.
But we also know Triple H is a Seth Rollins guy too.
Right, exactly. But I also read that instead of that, Vince has come around to the fact that people are simply going to boo Roman, and I read they're not going to tweak the audio anymore. I don't know if that's true or not, but I guess he relayed to JBL, I think on the pay-per-view, and JBL said something along the lines of, Roman Reigns, if you love him or hate him, he draws passionate crowds.
Yeah, he gets a reaction.
And that apparently reflects what Vince is thinking these days with him. And it makes me wonder, what do we decide? What are we going to do in our bonus episode? Is that AJ Styles? What happens next? Okay, we can talk a little bit now about faces and heels then.
Okay.
Because it really feels like one of the biggest questions we get is always pertaining to faces versus heels. Is Roman a heel? Is AJ a heel? Is he a face? Is he a heel? Et cetera, et cetera. We're getting into this territory, mainly in the men's division. Charlotte is obviously a heel.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is obviously a heel.
Well, there's varying degrees of heels though. There's heels that people legitimately don't like. There's Sheamus.
The Sheamus.
No one likes Sheamus.
The X-Pac heat.
X-Pac heat.
Right.
There's heels that are good, but people don't necessarily appreciate them because they're good, like The Miz. Mm-hmm. I think people kind of say, okay, The Miz, he does his heel thing and it's okay. But there's people like Kevin Owens, who's a heel, but people love him for it.
Yeah.
So I think there's 3 different degrees of heel.
Yeah, the marks love Kevin Owens. Yeah. Kevin Owens is interesting because anecdotally, I mean, this is a couple months ago. I had my Bray Wyatt shirt on, my Wyatt family shirt on. I went to the bank, and I was going to check out my money in the bank. I was going to put my money in the bank. Anyways, there's the chick running the counter. Said, "Hey, what shirt is that?" It was a Bray Wyatt shirt. She's like, "Oh, my boyfriend got me into WWE." And I'm like, "It's cool." And she's like, "Who do you like?" And I told her, and I mentioned Kevin Owens. She's like, "Oh, I hate Kevin Owens." I think Kevin Owens is still. I think he doesn't have X-Pac heat, but I think he still draws that true heel heat, like the Roddy Piper heel heat.
Yeah.
He's doing his job very well. Yeah. The same heat that Seth Rollins drew.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted him to go away. They just hated him.
Those are the type of the heels that
we love.
Call them smart marks, whatever.
We love.
They love because they
smart
appreciate
marks. That's what I meant.
The entertainment.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of those characters.
Yeah, exactly. We love those guys.
Yeah. Those are usually our favorite wrestlers, the guys who are entertaining heels.
You have those guys, but nowadays you have something going on with the faces that's really interesting. And it makes me wonder, do they realize that like we want them to, it's not even we want them to behave badly, it's we want them to have some complexity and some edge. AJ Styles is a perfect example. I mean, Roman Reigns is a perfect example of this. Whenever they do stuff and it's like strictly, when you're sitting there and it's like, I think I'm a decent person, I'm a decent human being, but if somebody's sitting there saying, with Roman Reigns, it was always interesting because, you know, Triple H says, you could be the guy, just come along with us and we'll give you whatever you want. And you sit there and you think, why isn't Roman just taking this offer? This is your boss.
I know.
Why aren't you? If somebody made a really good point on Twitter or something like that, it's like, this is your boss. Why aren't you just saying, okay, you're not asking me to do anything bad.
Yeah.
You're saying, you're basically wanting to give me a promotion. You're wanting to advance my career.
Yeah.
And so it's like, the good baby faces, like AJ, I think right now is being written so well because he had to be brought to the breaking point. He's a competitor. That's his thing.
Yeah.
He's a competitor. He's a world travel guy.
Yeah.
He's a competitor who wants his world title.
Yeah.
But he wants to do it on his own terms.
Yeah.
That's a character. It's not just a good guy. That's a character.
Yeah.
And his terms don't include cheating because he's trying to prove himself. He's trying to prove something to himself. And so he's brought to a breaking point at Extreme Rules. He starts using that chair on, Usos and Roman Reigns, and he breaks.
Yeah.
That's not going heel.
No.
That's just being a complex character
Yes.
for wrestling.
Yes.
We want, and we've marked out for Roman when he does stuff like that.
Yeah.
When he just behaves, when you reach your breaking point and you know you're a badass, you go off on people.
Yeah.
And that's what we want our characters to do, heel or face. And it makes me wonder if they're going to push that a little bit more because they're good guys doing heelish things, but really they're just things that are showing an aggressive side.
Yeah.
Cena was always, I'm not going to cheat, I'm not going to do hustle oil, blah, blah, blah. And that's when he got boring.
Yeah.
And whenever he shows some spark, people cheer him. And they're like, oh, wow, he's showing some edge.
Yeah.
He's heelish,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not that I want him to go heel. It's just show some edge, show some life, show some spark.
Some complexity.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is wrestling. You're not supposed to be a pacifist.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many possibilities they could have explored with the Bray Cena angle, especially if they had. Cena still could have won that match, but if he had used the chair on Wyatt,
Everybody wins.
I know.
Everybody wins.
And that would have been so interesting.
And Wyatt claims the victory. And yeah, you add some complexity to Cena. Is he breaking down? Is he, is he doing what it takes?
Cracking under the pressure of the weight the Wyatts are putting on him? Yeah.
Could he justify doing that to himself, et cetera, and to his fans?
Yep.
You're right. There's a lot they could have worked with, but instead they went the, as you like to say, milquetoast way, and he just did his Cena thing. He won clean, and nobody really cared. So we're entering into these characters that are coming around. So they've got this sort of dilemma with Roman Reigns. They came into this problem where they want him to do that Cena thing where I think they equate doing nothing but good and not being complex with more conducive to the Make-A-Wish stuff, which is really good PR.
Well, I think it's also to cater to a younger audience because I don't have any numbers to back it up, but I'm wondering if they are the dominant demographic in terms of buying of merch.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, according to Scott Hall, anyways, Roman Reigns is number 2. You said there was a study that said he's the most marketable guy they
like
have.
That, or within the top 5, yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so it's bizarre that you'd want to. I mean, I guess it's not bizarre because they're trying to protect. It's kind of like movie studios when they just play it safe with movies as opposed to bring on an interesting creative.
And there's also something else to consider too. Like back in the Attitude Era, the WWE was still a privately held company. Mm-hmm. Now they're public.
Yeah.
They have investors and stockholders they have to make happy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I like that guys like. I mean, the problem is, it's so silly. But when Seth Rollins had the belt, there was always that sense of, oh man, one of our guys has it. One of the guys because you and I are the same. We like guys who have worked hard and who connect with us and have really risen the ranks on their own. We like those guys to be rewarded with stuff like that. It's all fake, It's all written for them and everything. Yeah. It doesn't mean Roman Reigns. But we like that to be kind of rewarded because that's sort of the reward for doing that stuff. You know?
I think the excellence in pro wrestling isn't in wins and losses. Mm-hmm. It's their ability to entertain and connect with an audience.
Right. And I was having kind of a discussion with somebody on Twitter the other day because he said, I'm not happy. It was right after AJ lost to Kevin Owens. And he said, I'm not really happy with the fact that AJ lost to Kevin Owens cleanly. I'm not happy how he's being booked. I'm like, being booked? I like this. He's been in the main event two months in a row, 2 pay-per-views in a row.
He was in the A story for the last 2 months.
He was in the A story. He just main evented Raw in a pay-per-view level match against the guy that they're grooming to be their top heel, one of the top guys in the company, who's now declaring his intentions on the world title. I think he's being booked pretty well. And the fact that he lost against Kevin Owens cleanly now gives fuel to the Bullet Club, to the club, to say, you needed us. You break up with us, and look what happens. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about...
those are different show notes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. These show
On this
notes.
show, we go in order.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, Seth Rollins. Seth Rogen. What the fuck am I thinking about?
Seth Rollins comes
Neighbors
out.
2 coming out soon.
Seth Rollins comes out, drops a promo saying, I'm still a heel, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't have my back when I was champion, and now you want to be my friend because I come back.
And more importantly, he said,
No
I
way.
never lost the title.
Yes,
And
he said that repeatedly.
I'm here to get it back.
So, of course, Reigns comes out.
With that dumb looking at me.
And then Rollins gets out of the ring and says, we'll fight on my time.
Exactly.
Which prompts Shane to come out and said, okay, your time will be at Money in the Bank. Rollins reigns for the title.
Yep. So we have that to look forward to. That's going to be a killer. Now, I would think that this is going to be continuing on to SummerSlam.
In some capacity.
I would
think
imagine
yeah.
so.
Well,
Because you have a thought about that.
I have an idea.
Right?
We'll get to that after we talk about All Raw, and we can talk about Money in the Bank and early predictions.
All right.
What else I think's gonna be in it. But anyways, following that up with a Sheamus interview.
Boo.
Sheamus had 2 interview segments during Raw.
Sheamus is Raw. Raw is Sheamus.
And it seemed like they're priming him to be the grumpy old man of WWE because he doesn't like this new era.
Yeah, he's reading the newspaper in the morning, drinking his coffee, not liking this new era of things. Doesn't like these young upstarts like Apollo Crews coming in, taking his shine away from him. After all, he is Bebop. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we had a Sheamus interview talking down about Sami Zayn, who then proceeded to beat Sheamus.
Yeah.
Sheamus was having a crisis of confidence there in the ring at the end of that particular match. That was a Money in the Bank qualifier match. We had 5 of these last night. And it made, I love when they do stuff like this because it makes Raw mean something.
Yeah, and that was the focus of the show. And so there were stakes in the show, and therefore it was entertaining.
Exactly. Then we had an Apollo Crews interview.
Where Sheamus came and beat him up a little bit.
Now, at that point, everybody thought that, okay, Apollo Crews is probably out of that match, and somebody else is going to be taking his place because he was fighting Chris Jericho. So then after that, we had a New Day promo where they were celebrating, what was it, the
1,200th episode of Raw.
So they had a cake.
It said happy birthday.
It said happy birthday, and Big E started walking around taunting people
in the crowd,
saying he was going to drop the cake on them. JBL, Byron Saxton, it was all very entertaining. Those guys are so over.
But then the social outcast came out to ruin the party.
Right. They had a match. They lost. Heath Slater got a head full of cake. That's what you get. He said, look good, too. I wish that was me. Just a whole cake in my face.
Would you open your mouth when they shoved the cake in your face?
I go like this. They'd have me held like, bring it on. Bring it on. I want my cake, my world title cake. Well, let's see what else happened. Cesaro versus The Miz in another
Money in the Bank qualifier match.
Now, this is easy to call. Like, Sheamus versus Sami Zayn, easy to call. Cesaro versus The Miz, easy to call. Miz ran away, snuck off with the IC belt, so Cesaro obviously was going to get the spot in the Money in the Bank match. So Cesaro won that particular match. Then we moved on to Seth Rollins backstage with Stephanie.
Hard time with Seth
I saw Steph right here, and I saw Seth right here. Seth Rollins. He was backstage. So we already mentioned this part. Yeah. I like that though. Like he goes up to her, hey, like give him a hug. What's wrong with just giving him a hug? Like she could have said everything she said. Just give him a hug. Hey, I'm glad you're okay. Good to see you.
Welcome back.
Now there are some new rules around here. Things have changed. Shake hands, part ways. Denying the man a hug? You guys were close for a while. I don't get it.
See, that's got to mean something, though.
I've hugged bosses before. Every time we'd go down to the Machinima offices, we'd give big hugs to everybody we see.
Yeah,
they might not want them, but we get them.
What's next?
Jericho versus Crews.
So you had a problem with Apollo Crews not selling the attack when he walked out or during the match at all.
This was a huge problem for me. This illustrates, and you kind of mentioned this off camera.
They brought him up a little early.
Crews comes out, happy as day. Now, he wasn't selling that beatdown he got. I mean, granted, he might be Happy Robot, so he doesn't feel, but he's just programmed for one thing, being happy. He comes out happy as can be. He wasn't selling the thing.
No, I know.
He didn't sell it.
No, I know.
He just got beat down backstage. Twitter was blowing up. Who's going to replace him? His clone? Like, is that his gimmick? He's like there's many Apollo Cruzes? Ooh-ha Nation? Like, there are many of them? Is that what it is? The Cruz Nation, whatever they're calling it now?
The Apollo Nation?
The Apollo Nation? There's like a lot of them?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, he didn't sell the beatdown, which was disappointing, but I mean, the match itself was okay.
Yeah, it was a decent match. He fucking botched.
Yeah, there's a spot where Chris Jericho went for a lion salt and Apollo got up. I have a feeling he wasn't supposed to.
He did a kip up right as the lion salt
was happening.
Was coming after him.
Yeah, that could have been bad for either of them.
That could have been really bad for both of them. And then you said somebody pointed out to you.
Oh, on Twitter, I don't have the name handy, but they said that he could hear Apollo say, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
During the pinfall, which I would guess would be relating to that botch spot.
On top of that, wait till you're backstage to say that. But he's a new guy. That's kind of like you say. Like I agree with you. This is my thing. I agree with you that Apollo Crews has a lot of potential. I agree with that. It's just in NXT, you go there to develop your character, to get a strong gimmick, to understand how to not kip up during a lion salt.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you mentioned also off camera, and I agreed with this, that maybe because Neville went down, they brought in another athletic guy, a guy who can just wow you in the ring, and he can do that when he's not botching a lion salt.
Well, that's the first time I've seen him botch a spot, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, No Way Jose is a more established character than definitely established character.
No, that's true. He's nowhere near as good in the ring. But he has an established character.
He has an established character. Honestly, who's more entertaining, dude? No Way Jose or Apollo Crews?
No Way Jose is more entertaining than 95% of the current roster of WWE or NXT.
I agree with that completely. Let's see here. After this, we had a Darren Young promo. I'm so done with these things. I should have been done with these things like weeks ago.
It's the same one that was on SmackDown, right?
Same one that was on SmackDown. And again, amusing. The performances are amusing. I think they would, like you've said a million times over, they've had good they would have good chemistry if they were near each other. I want to find that out. I want to know. Otherwise, I'm done with this stuff. The WWE, they keep on making that reference to the Donald Trump thing, the making blank great again, because they said that on their website about Rusev. By the way, I totally fucking called on yesterday's episode that the rematch between Rusev and Kalisto would be taking place not on Raw, but on SmackDown to bury it, and Rusev will go on. I'm assuming, let me ask you this. Do you think Cena's going to come back Memorial Day and take that belt off of Rusev when he comes back?
I hope not.
You know it's a distinct possibility, though.
Yeah.
It's probably more likely to happen than not.
Probably.
Because he can't take it off Kalisto. That'd be messed up.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a bummer.
Probably going to happen. Comes back Memorial Day. What bigger way to make a splash than to take the U.S. title off of Rusev?
That would just make Cena all the more boring. Or predictable, you know?
I know, man. I know. But let me ask you this.
What?
Would it be worth it if he brings back the open challenge? Maybe. Depends on what they do with Rusev. Maybe Rusev can hop over to the IC title.
Maybe.
Because what's like everybody else that was in the IC title dance, that would be, you know what, that'd be kind of fun. Think about this. Because I don't hate The Miz. The Miz versus Rusev could be a lot of fun.
It could be.
That could be a lot of fun because you have...
And it would also play into the fact that both Maurice and Lana are in the upcoming season of Total Divas. That could work.
You could have, like, Miz, I think, would have an interesting dynamic with somebody who he couldn't really get under their skin. Because Miz's thing, I don't see that getting under Rusev's skin.
No.
He can't... It's like, you can't be clever with Rusev because he's a monster.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
It doesn't seem like you can really annoy him because he just squash you.
Right, exactly.
So,
and he's got Lana, so it's like he can't say, I've got a hot woman and you don't.
Yeah.
That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I wonder if that'll happen because there's no obvious contender for the IC title right now.
Yeah.
The title.
Anytime you say title, you slip into AJ.
IC title. Next time I apply for like a real job, they're going to be like, I'm going to be like, really? What's my title here? Hey, Steve, I read this great new book. Really? What's a title?
Next, we had a Baron Corbin interview, and Dolph came.
Yeah, and then
they
he
talked
said,
to each other.
He said, Dolph, Corbin's just sitting there doing his promo, right? Saying his little boring
Why is
spiel.
this feud still a thing?
I don't know. I thought it was great because he said, I have all these people giving me the business because of how I won the no DQ match. And he has a point. This is something I wanted to bring up, and I forgot to yesterday. It's a no DQ match, and it takes 10 minutes for him to low blow a guy. Why is it not that in any DQ match, it should literally be a no DQ match, should be a race to punch somebody in his dick?
It's going to be a series of moves and reversals, all aiming to get a dick punch.
Be like a Joey Ryan match.
Yeah.
It's all dick centric. That's what a no DQ match should be. It should be who can punch the other guy in the dick first, or who can just seriously fuck up something. Like, you go get a weapon, whoever gets the first guy first, that's it.
They go on opposite corners of the ring and just run towards each other.
Why is there any wrestling in a no DQ match?
Yeah, I know.
It's no DQ.
I thought that during the Asylum match. Like, why are you doing drop kicks
Yeah.
and clotheslines?
Yeah.
Get a weapon.
And take opposite corners, go run at each other.
But apparently Corbin and Dolph are going to have a technical wrestling match on Raw next week, which should be great.
Well, I just like, and it's the little things, man. It's like when Kevin Owens enters frame and Shane said, this guy's like a fungus. And it's under his breath. Same with this time Corbin. Say what you will about Corbin. He delivered this line perfectly. Dolph gets in the frame and he says, this guy. This guy again. I thought that was late. You have to appreciate the little things in wrestling. I don't know why these guys are still feuding. That doesn't make any sense. And then, so Dolph loses in the feud. He gets a qualifying spot in the Money in the Bank match. Then he loses it clean to freaking Ambrose. I mean, I get what they're doing. They're like making sure that Corbin doesn't job right now.
Yeah.
But still,
that wasn't a problem for him. Their Dolph and Corbin's first match on Payback. They didn't have a problem with Corbin jobbing then.
Yeah, but that was one of those surprise jobs.
But it was also during the pre-show. No one really watches that.
I definitely watched. That's like the best part of the show. Let's see here. Okay. So then Big Cass comes out. Number one, their music. I love their music so much. You know why? Great. It's the strings at the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's the dum 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 dum. I love that. What is it? That's not strings, is it?
No, there's a mandolin type.
The mandolin, but then there's like the string, the quartet comes in.
I don't think it's a quartet, but I know what you're talking about.
It's a quartet.
I don't think so.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I have to listen to it again.
I don't see why you laughing. You're all being condescending. I don't think it's a quartet.
No, I didn't.
You don't know. You have no idea.
Condescending. I was stating my opinion.
You laughed when he did it.
It wasn't intentional.
That was condescending. He said, "I don't think that's."
All right, Steve. Whatever you think.
All right. So, anyways, their music hits and people go crazy. Cass comes out. I'm literally, when this is done with, I'm going to watch this again just for Cass's reaction to Enzo running around him. Because then the emotions for Enzo. Enzo comes out looking like I don't know what. He's got a Thriller jacket
with a Jordan logo on back and leopard trim.
Leopard print trim or cheetah, one of the two. I think it's leopard. Holsters. Who wears holsters?
Bright red Jordans.
And then, of course, the rest of the getup. His hair is on another level. And the crowd goes crazy, and he just, they cut the power out of my house. My lights went out, or whatever he says. And it was great. And he wouldn't stop. And Cass kept on putting the microphone up and putting it back down. And he doesn't even, it's like he's not even amused. He just understands that this is Enzo.
Yeah.
He's just like, because if you look at the look on his face, he doesn't crack. He's not even trying to hold back laughter.
Yeah.
He's just like thinking to himself, in his mind, after listening to Stone Cold podcast and how, I realized, you guys need to listen to this thing. It's great. But Cass was like a pre-med student.
Yeah.
And he went far. I don't know if he graduated with pre-med, but he was on his way to med school and he realized, I don't really want to do this for 4 more years. But he's probably the smartest guy in any room you walk into. He's done organic chemistry, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
All sorts of crazy classes. And so he comes off like, I just want to get this right. I just want to get this right. And Enzo is such a loose cannon that he can't Like he just can't. He's like, okay, I want to
I
get.
imagine Cass has like an internal clock in his head. Like, okay, we have this.
You're exactly right. That's what I meant. Yeah,
down
yeah,
to
yeah.
the second of how much time we have in this segment. We have to get it perfect.
Exactly. Oh, the look on his face, the anti-look on his face. That's what it's like. The lack of a look on his face. Yeah. Oh, it's fucking great. It's so fucking great. Anyways, they took on the Dudley. They ran down the Dudleys. Bubba Ray versus Cass. Again, Cass, destroys him.
Yeah.
Devon messes with Enzo a little bit. Knocks him to the ground. I always get freaked out when that happens.
And then he got up, and then Cass threw Enzo into, was it Devon or Bubba?
Yeah, I forget.
Outside.
I don't know.
Whatever, it was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, that was really good. I'm looking forward. I'm really glad that Enzo's back, and I think everybody else is.
Yeah.
It's just pure gold. Okay, so then we had the most uncomfortable moment of the night.
Yeah.
I loved every second of this and how uncomfortable it was and how real it felt. Charlotte dumped her dad to the side, brought up stuff like, I remember Christmases and Thanksgiving of you not being there. I can do this on my own now. See, I thought personally that this would be more impactful if she actually did win on her own.
I agree with that.
But I see, but like in retrospect, now that I see it, it's not, I can do this on my own, but I can play this game.
Yeah.
Meaning Dana Brooke is with me. I recruited her.
And she kind of alluded to that when saying that Rick was now the second dirtiest player in the game.
Right, exactly. And so that makes her victory a little bit more palatable, even though that's not the way I would have wanted it to go down. I just think she would have had more ground to stand on if she said, I did this on my own.
Yeah.
But in terms of being the dirtiest player in the game, it kind of makes sense.
When Rick was a heel, he never did anything on his own. He always had the Horseman.
Exactly. So, and you said you wanted this to go in the direction of a possible 4 horsewomen type thing. And Rick kind of alluded to saying Dana Brooke is akin to his Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
So maybe we're going to see something like that. I think that'd be absolutely fantastic.
That'd be awesome.
We have one of our video questions later in the show asking us about the women's division and what they could do with it, and we can address that a little bit there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. After that, we had
Ambrose versus Dolph.
Ambrose won clean. All these qualifying matches,
which is really surprising. There was at least 3 of them that seemed set up for interference really easily,
right? And
they didn't do it.
Right. They're all clean. They're all clean finishes. That was great. Ambrose beat Dolph cleanly. Not really surprising. Dolph will lose with the best of them. Let's see here. Then we had Flair's backstage interview. This was seemed real emotion, real tear. We have no doubt they talked about all this stuff beforehand. But it makes me wonder if some of those tears of his were not even some of them, but just proud that she was able to pull this off with such conviction, and go to that place. But, they say, Flair, what are your thoughts? That he was still kind of crying.
He says nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
I have nothing.
And, the camera goes to the exit sign, which was hastily taped up there.
And we had an Arn Anderson sighting.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Let's see here. Styles and the club.
Broke up.
It was, honestly, the most... it really reminded me of anytime
you do you and I'll do me.
Anytime that's literally the words I use whenever I've broken up with somebody in my life. Yeah.
You don't say it to you, it's me.
I say, listen, this is a business, and business wise, let's stay away from each other, but we can still be friends.
And you do this?
Yeah, I do too sweet. Come on, too sweet me. No, come on, you're gonna too sweet me.
I've never too sweeted anybody in my entire life. I don't know if I'm gonna start.
You know what? That's a lie though. Because back in college, you used to too sweet me all the time.
I don't think that's true.
That is definitely true. Ask Big Jim, he knows.
I don't remember too sweeting anybody.
You too sweet. You for life, Corliss Williams.
Well, that's different. I'll for life.
Are we for life? Yeah, there we go.
That's
Give
fine.
me too sweet.
No,
damn it.
I can't do it now. It's my thing.
I'm gonna get you to do it. So anyways, they had a very romantic talk in the middle of the ring. He said, hey, I've got some stuff at your house I'm going to need back.
I kind of feel like the club took things a little too far. They took it personally. When AJ's like, I just want to win on my own, man.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
And they said, well, then we're not friends anymore.
The best thing about this, and I'm tripping balls over this, the friendo Jordan Caldino. Caldino. It's one of those two. I know I got it right one time. Pointed us in the direction to a Kevin Owens interview.
Yes.
Backstage, WWE.com. Buried. Place where nobody really looks. where he's talking to Tom Phillips or Todd Phillips, one of the two.
Yeah.
The NXT guy. And he says, he's referring to AJ Styles. And, he's saying, people are saying, AJ's probably just torn up from his match yesterday, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, he's
saying there's no excuses.
Breaking up with the club, too.
Yeah, so he starts talking about how he broke up with the club. And he says, the club wasn't even his in the first place. He just showed up and
like saying replace some other guy.
Replace some other guy, exactly. Obviously.
Oh, he said it's not his club to begin with. It's another guy's club.
That's right.
He just showed up or something like that.
The seeds have been, and two things about that interview. And then he mentions, I'm now going to be in the Money in the Bank match for my WWE World Heavyweight title.
Say it right.
World Heavyweight title.
No, AJ Styles.
Title.
There you
World Heavyweight title.
Thank you.
So two huge things in this really small buried interview. Number one, a absolute connection mentioning the Bullet Club, a different guy. That's Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, whatever you want to call him.
Well, he's Finn Balor now.
He's Finn Balor.
I don't think we can call him Prince Devitt.
When it was his club, though, he was Prince Devitt.
Yeah, but we can't call him that in relation to WWE.
Well, look, they're fine saying that club.
Well, no, they say the club, but then they just show images of Bullet. In Anderson and Gallows package.
Exactly. Anyway, so that's pretty big, and this shows that Kevin Owens is now moving on from the Intercontinental title race.
It also shows that he's like the best in the business, pretty much.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's fucking great, man. So that's fantastic. Do you think management, writers said, "Hey, mention that"? Do you think he said, "Hey, do you mind if I do this"? Do you think he said, "AJ, guys, do you mind if I drop this and it'll sow some seeds"? I don't
know if he talked to AJ and the guys about it. It has to be management he talked to.
I would think so. I
wonder if they give it, like, when these, probably not, I'm just speculating here, if they have these larger storylines are going to play out. No, that would make sense either. Like if they say, okay, they need to collect a few of the wrestlers and say, okay, this is how things are going to go. Mm-hmm. This is what you can say. This is what you can't say. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, that sounds way too organized. But.
That's one of those things that would be like fascinating to find out. Like we've said a million times before, the behind the scenes stuff is arguably more interesting than what happens on camera. You know, it's such a weird industry. Let's see here. That led us to the Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles match, a pay-per-view level match. This was fantastic. Clean finish. Owens went over, but the match itself was absolutely fantastic.
I was really expecting the club to interfere.
Yeah.
To cost AJ the match.
Yeah.
I was really expecting it. And when Owens got that pop-up powerbomb and one clean, I was surprised.
And this, like I was saying at the start of the show, this leads us to an AJ character is really interesting because he gets rid of the club, and what's the first thing that happens? He loses cleanly. Yeah. He doesn't have his guys out there. Yeah. So that's going to set up definitely something with them.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait. Do you think, let me ask you this. Now, we're going to get into some early Money in the Bank predictions here. Do you think this is going to set up Finn Balor to debut at Money in the Bank?
I was thinking about that last night. Maybe we should hold off and talking about this for the bonus episode because our topic is what's next for AJ.
All right, if you guys want to check out the bonus episode, you can get on patreon.com/Stephen
For the short answer, I'll say no. Okay. Battleground, yes.
Is that the one after?
Yeah, that's the July one.
Battleground, such a minor pay-per-view. But, I mean, that's a big occurrence for a minor pay-per-view. So, yeah, maybe you're right.
Not in the match. Well, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Let's do some early Money in the Bank predictions. There's 5 spots taken, 2 still available.
All right. Who could land in those spots?
As far as I know, they didn't announce anything on SmackDown as far as qualifying matches.
Somebody made a good point when they said it's face heavy right now.
It is.
So we probably won't need a couple of heels.
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, okay.
I know who you're going to say, and don't even say it.
Are we? Well, I'm going to mention him in a second. Are we going to say belt holders are not part of this? Sure. Rusev is.
How about Bray Wyatt?
Off the top of my head, say he's too big for Money in the Bank, and that's too much of a gimmick match for him. Because you're like that would mean he's admitting to caring about the belt.
Well, he already did show he cared about the belt when he tapped on it when it was on Triple H's shoulder.
Yeah.
He does care about the belt.
All right, maybe Bray Wyatt.
What about Randy Orton? He's coming back soon from injury.
I mean,
he's not going to win, but he could be in the match.
Oh, God.
You don't want to see an RKO off the top of the ladder?
He wouldn't be a face. I mean, he wouldn't be a heel, rather.
We don't know.
Baron Corbin,
no.
The winner of the 2016 Andre the Giant Battle Memorial.
Consequence he's going to win this year. All right, of the 5 guys who are in it, who do you think are legitimate contenders?
Kevin Owens, Kevin Owens, Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens.
This is what I'm thinking. Kevin Owens is the number one.
Unless Sami Zayn. This is what I love. This is what I love. And I was thinking about this last night. In my wildest dreams, this is what would happen. Kevin Owens would be so close to getting that briefcase, but Sami Zayn gets it instead.
I think the opposite is going to happen. Zayn's going to be very close to getting it, and then Owens is going to cost him.
Here's what I like about that, though, is that Kevin Owens is the guy. Kevin Owens is the guy who wants the thing. Sami Zayn is always the guy who spoils him getting the thing. That's their story. And I love the idea of Kevin Owens winning the heavyweight title. And maybe against Cena. I don't know.
But in the end, you want Zayn to cash in.
Zayn to cash in so Kevin Owens has like a minute-long title reign. Because that would just give him so much more motivation. It would just up that level. Sami Zayn would be hugely over as the next WWE champion. And talk about, like we talked about this before, about who the WWE could turn to as the next face of the company. And Sami Zayn, tell me it's not him. I mean, Jesus, he has got everything they're looking for.
This is what I think is going to happen. Either Owens wins, and if not, and I know I'm overthinking the situation completely, Money in the Bank is in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
One of the participants in the Money in the Bank match currently lives in Las Vegas. Do you know who that person is?
You told me before, so yes, I do.
It's Dean Ambrose. So, if their goal is to set up some sort of inevitable Shield triple threat match, have Ambrose win it. Mm-hmm. It can even be as soon as later on that night. Like literally, if Ambrose cashed in and won the belt at Money in the Bank, set up for the proper triple threat match at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I like that. And here's the thing.
I prefer Kevin Owens to win, but that could happen too.
Somebody mentioned this on Twitter because I wasn't evidently paying attention that much. I had like my dad over here eating pizza and stuff. And I was the show was on in here because I steal cable. They mentioned that I guess JBL, a couple of the commentators, mentioned the idea of a Shield triple threat several times during the broadcast. So it wouldn't surprise me if you were absolutely correct. That would be thrilling. That would be fantastic. I would love that. Dean Ambrose is one of those guys who he kind of needs a title reign, but he doesn't need a long one. That would just make him that much more of a commodity if he just had the belt for a couple months, then lost it to like Rollins or even fucking Reigns again.
Yeah.
How much longer do you think this fucking Reigns thing is going to go? I was thinking about this. I'm like, God, why don't they just keep the fucking belt on him? I mean, just... he had it since WrestleMania to SummerSlam. That's a good lengthy experiment.
It's 5 months.
Take it off him. Let him figure out what the fuck is going on. Give it to the people who deserve it at this point. Kevin Owens is kind of old. He kind of needs that belt.
Early 30s.
Mid-30s.
Is he? I thought he was in like 32 or 33.
I was 34. Then you're going into mid-30s territory.
No, I won't argue with that.
Hold on. Kevin Owens. Siri, how old is Kevin Owens?
You say that while you type it.
He was born in 84. How old does that make him? 32? Oh, shit, he's 32. Wow. I stand corrected. Anyways, he's got like 40-year-old knees, though.
Yeah, no, he's got a lot of mileage on him.
That's not my point. So anyways, yeah, I don't know. I like all those outcomes. A lot of unpredictable scenarios. Yeah, I don't know.
Sadly, I don't think Cesaro has any chance of winning it. I don't think.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
Jericho has any chance of winning it.
So you know what I fear is I think Cesaro is quickly heading down the path of Dolph Ziggler.
I was going to say the same thing.
Where it's like the top is up here and he's like, oh yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be bothered by this, but the suit bugs me. We talked about it last week.
We were so high on the suit when he first did it.
It was great when he first came out, and now he does it every week and doesn't. It's.
Here's the thing about Cesaro, and it makes me wonder if it's in. Okay, I'll give you an example. Number one, do we know where is Cesaro actually from?
He's from Switzerland.
He is from Switzerland. Okay. So England, one of the knocks on him that Vince said is, connecting with the crowd in terms of the language barrier. I mean, obviously he speaks English. Yeah. But to be able to, I don't know. He's not fluid on the mic. You know what I mean? Yeah. He needs to find his voice. And he's had ups and downs with that. English isn't his first language. If I go to a foreign country, right, and I'm asked to do something, I'm asked to behave in a certain way or to connect with the crowd in a certain way, and it's not my first language, even if I'm fluent in it, that's a really tough thing to do sometimes. Let me ask you this. When's the last time somebody whose first language is a foreign language really connected with the crowd? I'm not talking about like British, because like, you know, that's different. Mm-hmm. It's only a foreign language, not English.
Well, I mean, even right now, Shinsuke's done a great job connecting with an audience.
Shinsuke's a bit different because he's such a force of personality. He's so much personality that it's infectious. But if I'm me and I'm going into, let's say, like a lucha territory, okay, Spanish speaking territory, and I'm asked, okay, Steve, you're fluent in Spanish, but I'm not. But if I was, really connect with this crowd. The barrier between how, like, the fact that I'm thinking in English but saying Spanish words, and they're all thinking in Spanish and listening to me in Spanish, there's a kind of a barrier there. You know, see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
And so when they say, look, here's your thing, you're going to be this James Bond type character. Like, you have the James Bond thing going on.
They mentioned something last night that was interesting I had thought about before, is he's the James Bond character, but then when he rips off the suit, that's his transformation to the Swiss Superman. So he's got like a weird character mashup thing going.
Clark Kent. So like, you throw all this to a guy who English isn't his first language. Our pop culture might not be his in his blood like it is in our blood. I feel like he's trying really hard to do what they want him to do, but it just doesn't come across because he's trying to do it.
That could be. I
just don't know if it's... I just feel like he's trying to do something that they're telling him to do.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna... It's too one-dimensional, maybe? I don't know. Like
the suit thing now, like when he did it the first time, and it was awesome. It was an awesome way to return.
Yeah, it was a great way to return. It should have been his, like, that one-time thing.
But now it's just a gimmick.
Now it's just a gimmick. Now he's the suit.
Alex C. raises a good point here in the chat, our live stream, that Kevin Owens' first language isn't English.
That's a really good point, and it honestly speaks to how awesome Kevin Owens is. You know what I mean? Because you're completely right, but for some reason Kevin Owens has okay. And you know what? When 10 years ago, and he said this before, 10 years ago when Kevin Owens met Stone Cold Steve Austin, what's the word of advice that Stone Cold gave him?
I don't remember.
Never stop talking.
Oh yeah.
Always be talking, always be jabbing. And that comes across it's so evident.
Oh yeah.
That when he talks, he connects, because that's all he's been doing, because that was the advice that he was given.
That's right.
So maybe therein lies the difference, because he's right. That's not his first language, but man, he commands it. With Cesaro, it's obvious he doesn't command it.
Well, and Owens, I don't think there's ever a point during his matches where he doesn't talk.
Right.
Outside of the ring, he's a great talker. Inside the ring, he's a great talker.
Right. So, yeah.
Maybe that's the difference.
Last night, Cole, I can hear you from here.
Cole, shut up. I can hear you from here.
That was great. So I don't know. I mean, look, that's my own personal point of view. You know, when you go into a situation where you don't command the language, it's hard to get across.
I mean, he's able to connect with the audience based on his work.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's why it's such a shame. Yeah, that's why it's such a shame. But it's like, you know, because he's got the Cesaro section, and I think they should be playing up his connection with the people in terms of what he's doing and the heart he's laying on the line for them. Not like, hey, you have the suit. He's just the suit. He's always wearing the stupid sunglasses. You can't connect with somebody when you got sunglasses on. You can't connect with them.
It's very hard.
You know, but it's like, still, he's impressive because he gets in the ring and he does amazing things. He was selling the shit out of his arm yesterday, and it made for a compelling matchup.
Yeah, at one point, is he going to stop wearing the tape to throw people off the idea that his shoulder still hurts?
I don't know, man.
You should probably do that already.
Probably should actually do that. But I don't know. He's very quickly heading into Dolph Ziggler territory, because there's never a point where it's like, oh, yeah, no, he's primed for that top spot. Kevin Owens is passing him by.
Yeah.
Passing him by.
Yep. So you want to talk about some releases?
Let's talk about some releases. Yeah, there's three.
Two. Wait, I forget one.
Didn't they officially release him? No? Okay, there's two.
No, he's just daydreaming about the Impact.
Listen, guys, if you guys want to hear us, like, our best Ryback conversation ever with Dan yesterday on Going in Raw, check that out.
just interspersed throughout the entire podcast are Ryback jokes.
Let's see here. So first off, my son Cody Rhodes said, "This whole organization, baby, is one huge dusty finish because I ain't winning. Everybody else seems to be winning, but not me, so that's not a dusty finish. I'm losing, baby." Cody Rhodes said, "I don't want to be in this organization no more," because apparently he's just expressing all sorts of frustration with the writers. He said the head writer from Raw, just wants to be somebody he's not or something. Thinks he's Brian.
Yeah, we go into this a lot in our Machinima Raw recap.
Yeah, we encourage you to go check that out.
Yeah.
Because we go into it there. But he wanted his release. They've granted it. But I was reading up on this just before the show started, in between the recap and now. And apparently WWE, for obvious reasons, they're not happy with that statement he made. So as opposed to being more diplomatic with their release, they're like holding him like you're not working at all until the contract
non-compete clause.
There is, like that. Yeah. So it's not really much of a release.
He's still getting paid then, at least.
Yeah, just take a good vacation. Maybe he'll do some viral marketing for himself. Let's see here. Then we had Adam Rose was actually released. Not a big surprise. Sort of saw this coming. WWE has always been good with their wellness program, like the post-release, like alumni.
In terms of like paying,
getting them help and stuff.
Hall's rehab several times.
Yeah, I hope that if Adam Rose needs help in that area, then he's going to get help in that area. But it sounds like he needs to really focus on his family and the dude's made a name for himself, and that first match back on the indie circuit probably won't be easy because people are going to be like, "Wife beater," how wrestling fans can be. It's so annoying. So it's going to be difficult for him. He seems like a smart guy. I think he's around our age.
Yeah, he is.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping that he's a smart guy, and if wrestling isn't in his cards, he can pick up and do something else. Yeah. We wish the guy the best. Like it's a tough situation. Yeah. Obviously, we don't know the particulars. Like we read the shit that happened, and it sucks when somebody puts their hands on a woman or a wife or a family member. But it sounds like there were some shades of gray there that I don't know. It's a bummer of a situation, and hopefully everybody lands on their feet.
Hopefully everything gets worked out.
Yeah.
In lighter news. During Extreme Rules, Ryback tweeted.
Oh
God. I'm trying to get the exact wording of the tweet right.
Who wants to see Ryborg?
No, it said feed me more. Who wants to see the Ryborg on the Impact Zone? And he tagged his tweet WWE Extreme Rules.
And I said, I really wish that would have shown up on the broadcast.
On the ticker?
The ticker, yeah.
So apparently, while he's still under WWE contract, his goal is TNA. Do they even call it the Impact Zone anymore?
Who wants to see me on an episode of the Asylum Rules?
It would have been funny if he would have said, "Who wants to see Ryborg in total nonstop action?"
Who wants to see Ryborg take on Ken Shamrock and Jeff Jarrett in a King of the Mountain match?
Who wants to see the Ryborg against Christopher Daniels for the X Division title?
Who wants to see me against Low Key? Or whatever the fuck his name was there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's so much material there. I hope he keeps on tweeting that kind of shit, because this is great. Like, every pay-per-view, I want him to be tweeting about that.
Start tweeting about Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Who wants to see the Ryborg in the Realm of Honor? It's Ring of Honor Ryborg.
All right, you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, let's answer some questions.
All right, James Rodriguez. Do you think the crowds are ruining the show whenever they try to hijack a match or segment?
What are your thoughts on this? Because I'm kind of torn, to be honest with you.
I am too. Like last night during the Charlotte Ric Flair segment, when the crowd was chanting "What?" that was lame. Super lame. Really lame. I think sometimes, and maybe I don't know, people have short attention spans or what, but it's like they want live crowds on televised events don't seem patient enough to let things build. That Charlotte Flair segment needed to build, and it's like they wanted the payoff immediately.
I hate that. I hate that the crowd is starting to turn. Like certain crowds are starting to turn to this sort of look at me thing.
Yeah.
And although I completely understand, it's like, okay, you paid your money, you're supposed to go, you're allowed to go there and say what you want to say. It kills the show. Like, who the fuck are you to be trying to do this?
Yeah.
It bugs the crap out of
Yeah.
me. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if a guy like Roman Reigns is busting his ass, like, and I'm there live, for me personally speaking, everything when you go to a live show is amplified, and so you're more willing to cheer and boo even more and more.
Yeah.
If I was there and saw that match between AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, I'd be marking out for Roman Reigns, and I'd be marking out for both of them.
You'd be marking out for the match.
For the match, exactly. Like, they both deserved a standing ovation for that. And to hijack and say, you still suck, I get it. You pay the money, you can say what you want. It's fucking lame.
Yeah.
It's fucking low class.
Yeah.
It's bottom feeder. You're fucking lame.
I think there's certain things like when Cena comes out and you sing John Cena Sucks to his theme song.
Part of the show.
Part of the show.
Yeah.
And he seems to take it in stride.
He takes it in stride. Not only is he taking it in stride, 9 times out of 10, he can turn that crowd around.
Yeah.
He really can.
Yeah.
Like, he's good at handling the crowd. Roman Reigns can't do that. Like,
well, the crowd won't let him do it either.
yeah.
If he tries, they just eat him alive.
Yeah. And it's not like, I don't know. Roman Reigns is in a tough position. Like, we give him all sorts of shit. But at the same time, what's he going to say? No, Vince, I'm not ready for this.
I mean, the situation he's in is not hasn't come as a result of his not working.
Yeah.
He's busted his ass.
Yeah.
During all of his matches that I can tell. Even the match against Triple H at WrestleMania, which was garbage.
Yeah.
Whose fault was that? I don't know.
I have a hard time with the people in charge booking him and writing him into that spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To answer your question, I do kind of think does it ruin the show? It's disappointing.
Yeah. There's been like the Charlotte segment last night. It brought it down a notch, and it obviously distracted her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which it'd been nice to see that whole segment uninterrupted.
Yeah.
But
totally.
Anyways. But yeah, it kind of does suck. Alex Shez, fill in the blank. Enzo and Cass, most over superstars since.
Oh God.
I'm trying to think of people who made their debut in WWE/WWF that had.
I mean, the first one that come to mind is Jericho.
That's what I thought too.
Is Jericho. I mean, his debut was something else, really something to behold, and he really came in and just with authority picked up where he was in WCW.
Will wrestle for food. All-time Money in the Bank match. 8 wrestlers from any era and company. Who would you choose? So an all-time Money in the Bank match.
All-time Money in the 8 wrestlers from any era. Oh, okay. Well, I'd say and company. I'd say CM Punk topped my list.
That's one.
Kevin Owens.
Okay.
As a current guy.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. Razor Ramon, just to give Shawn Michaels and him a story.
That's 4.
Edge, because he was,
I'm going to say Magnum TA.
Magnum TA is great. That guy, he would have changed the entire course of wrestling had he not gotten that motorcycle accident. That dude was a fucking stud and a half. Man, talk about the manliest guy you've ever seen. Magnum TA for sure. Give me a break. Like to see that guy fuck.
Oh, man. Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah. Money in the Bank. The cream will rise to the top.
Give me one more.
Any promotion? Hold on. Okay. Ooh, you want to add some danger into this sumbitch? New Jack.
I like it.
That's a great 8 right there.
That's a great match.
Yeah, it is. New Jack. Nobody gets in the ring. Just let them take it.
Luis R. Molina. Who do you see winning the big belt first? Owens, Ambrose, or Styles?
I like your idea about Ambrose at Money in the Bank because that'd be pretty shocking. Money in the Bank is usually a pretty good pay-per-view. Boy, that'd be something else, man. That'd be something else.
To date, I believe the only person to win Money in the Bank and cash in the same night was Kane.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me at all because they've gone several Money in the Banks with. Usually they like to milk because then it becomes that dude's gimmick.
Yeah,
I'm Mr. Money in the Bank.
But
man.
none of these three guys need that as their gimmick.
You're right. And Owens, especially, I think Owens and Ambrose, I think take Styles out of it. I think you have Owens and Ambrose as two guys who would win it and would want to cash it in as soon as possible for different reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's either of those guys. That'd be fucking, could you imagine?
So cool.
That'd be great, especially if it was Owens.
Papa Drywall. How could have WWE made their 2006 reboot of ECW good?
Oh, this is a great question. This is a really good question.
We got a lot of momentum after the one night only pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But I think the problem was that they didn't hold true to the spirit of ECW.
Oh, the big problem was, it debuted on Sci-Fi when it was still like science fiction based, and so they started to force like a vampire character on them. There was, I think, a zombie guy of some sort. There was some, it was
Weird.
like they were forcing really crappy characters
also,
on them.
it just wasn't extreme.
And it wasn't extreme. Yeah. I mean, there was that too. I think if you had stuck to the spirit of it, if you had
Had it on like cable access instead of on a major cable network.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shot it in SD.
Yeah.
It still was in 2006. But you know what I mean? On like the lowest quality broadcast camera.
Okay, I mean, look, if you really want to get down to it, here's what you do. Gather all the people in the arena, turn off all the lights, give New Jack a gun. Want to see extreme.
Ashley Smith. As there are almost 10 tag teams on the main roster, which tag team would you break up? Seems like a lot. I didn't know there's that many. Let's go through them.
The Golden Truth.
They just got together, though.
Who do we have? Golden Truth, Fandango Breeze,
Enzo and Cass.
the Dudleys, Enzo and Cass, the New Day.
I would say the Dudleys.
Clones. Yeah, I started to think that too, but what's Devon going to do? We know Bubba Ray, like from his TNA days, like he was one of the shining stars, so to speak, of TNA.
He's a quality heel.
He really was. Like he was really good. So Dudley's is good. If you're not going to break them up, at least update their look. That's annoying. He looked cool when he was doing that Aces and Eights stuff.
Yeah.
That was a cool old faction type thing.
Yost Dahan. Will the Rhodes Scholars tag team reform somewhere else?
I'd love to say yes. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know when Cody's contract is up and the WWE's going to let him fly.
He could be on the shelf for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Infrared Ruby 421. Do you think Lex Luger will make a return at the Rumble?
Did you see WWEshop.com? They have a vintage Lex Luger shirt.
Really? It's
red with black writing. It says the total package of Lex Luger.
Oh, man.
And like cursive writing. They have a really sick looking American Dream one too.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, that one's good.
But no, he's not coming back. Not in a wrestling capacity.
I don't think he can. I mean, I know he can walk, but he's so skinny these days.
Yeah, he can't.
He's frail.
No. Do you think No Way Jose will win the NXT title before he gets called up?
You're assuming he's going to get called up.
Yeah. He's going to be in NXT for a little while.
To say, in a word, no way, Jose.
Yeah. Stonecutters 07. If Seth Rollins somehow got involved in the Bullet Club storyline with AJ and possibly Balor, how do you think the company would book it, and how would you book it?
What about this? What if they after the Shield triple threat, what if something brought them together to fight the Bullet Club as the Shield against the Bullet Club, and Seth, true to form, turns on the Shield and joins the Bullet Club, ousting, I don't know, Balor or something like that.
Okay.
That works for me.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, that's fine. David Fishkind. Do you think Paige and Emma will get a women's title championship in the next 2 years, bringing back their NXT feud?
Doesn't look promising at this point.
Paige has a better chance of winning the title.
Yeah.
Sometime soon.
Yeah.
I don't know about Emma. Logan Cone.
Logan.
Build an NWO Bullet Club-like faction and have it be all women.
Okay.
How many women are we going to have in this faction?
7.
Okay.
Because, let's see, if you get a tag team, you get 2 tag teams. You have an A tag team and a B tag team.
Okay. Who's the leader?
Charlotte.
Okay. Who's the cleaner? Who's the Kenny Omega?
Dana Brooke.
Okay.
Who's the tag team? Eva Marie and Nia Jax.
Okay.
What was that for?
That's 4.
And then, you got to have Emma in there because of Dana Brooke.
Yeah. What about Naomi?
Naomi's good. No, wait a second. Not Naomi. She needs to turn face.
Okay.
You put Tamina in there.
Okay.
Because you got like Twin Towers right there with her and Nia Jax.
Okay.
I like that.
That's 6.
That 6 is good.
Okay.
I mean, you got to have some leftovers.
That's it for questions. Oh, okay, video questions. Sorry.
No, we got Jordan.
We already talked about that, though.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Video questions. First one from Davey Scott. Let's take a look at this.
Take a look. Davey Scott.
Hey, friendos. With Seth Rollins being back in WWE, how should they book his return? And the women's division, should there be more titles, a Queen of the Ring, a female Royal Rumble, or any combination of those 3? What's your thoughts?
Thanks, Davey.
Thank you.
Good question. You guys can put your video questions on here at the $20 a month tier on the Patreon, patreon.com/Lars.
Correct.
Yeah.
So booking Rollins' return. Well, I mean, we already got the first step in it.
Got the first step, and we predicted this. We saw this coming. Rollins says, I never lost the belt. Didn't see him being heel immediately, but I guess that wasn't out of the question. Again,
I'm fine with that.
Again, heel, yeah, but also just true to character.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that I kind of prefer over turning heel, turning face, is to stay true to character. It wouldn't have been true if he came back and was like, oh, thank you guys. It's great. I saw him there in my ways. And then I like what you said before. I like him versus Reigns. Ambrose comes in, cashes it. SummerSlam, you get a triple threat for this.
That'd be great. More women's belts. What do you think about that? I think tag team belts
I think
would be a great idea.
a tag team belt would be a really good idea. You'd need to maybe beef the division up a little bit more to add another singles title if you're going to do a tag title.
Yeah.
But I still say have Dana Brooke win the first female Intercontinental Championship in Rio de Janeiro, where Pat Patterson
What about
won
a Money in the Bank ladder match for the women's division?
I think that's good. I think that and a women's Royal Rumble. I mean, all that stuff that the men get to do for a number one shot, for a shot of the title, have the women do it.
Yeah, and I think a Queen of the Ring would be a great idea.
That'd be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. We got one more from Ulysses.
Let's see.
Let's take a look.
During the Shane McMahon interview, it looked like there was slight tension between him and Triple H when Mick Foley asked him. So, what are your thoughts on that?
That was a weird looking face right there. It was Ulysses, but it was H-face. Didn't like that at all.
We didn't watch the Shane McMahon.
I haven't had time to watch that yet.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's good.
When Raw was over, it was like 11. I was tired.
But if he is sensing tension between Triple H and Shane, do you think? I think that's probably, that wouldn't surprise me. If that's this, we're dealing with egos here.
Oh yeah,
McMahon-sized egos. I know one thing that he mentioned on the podcast, just because I was looking at like WWE's Twitter, and he was saying how Vince didn't dole out a lot of dad hugs back in the day, and he didn't get a lot of his approval. Vince would really make him work for his approval. That's rough. That's gonna foster a very competitive, maybe even like insecure environment, where you're always trying to please the old man, and who knows,
where nothing's ever good enough.
Yeah, exactly. So to be Shane, and then you have Triple H, who is his son-in-law, and he's like this freaking alpha male. I could see that. That wouldn't surprise me if there's tension there. You know, I think the thing is, and again, I haven't seen the podcast, but the fact that Shane walked away, was successful at his own company. When you come back to something like that, you got some balls. You're like, hey, I don't need you at all.
Yeah.
I'm here because I want to be here, not because I'm trying to prove myself to anybody.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great, and I think that's only going to foster more creativity. So
hopefully.
If it is true that Shane came up with that time travel segment for the New Day, that's fucking rad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. Thanks for your video questions, guys. We appreciate it. All right, Larson, I think it's that time again. Time for Kayfabe Corner. What is Kayfabe Corner?
It's only the greatest pro wrestling trivia challenge there is.
That's all it is.
12 names.
Man.
6 real, 6 fake.
Yes.
Usually, sometimes 5 and 7 if one of us messes up.
Pretty sure this time it's 6 and 6, but I'm not looking at them right now. I'm going to bring them up right here on
You should look at those.
my telephono. So today's theme. There you go. Every week has a different theme. And at the $10 and up level of our Patreon, of our subscription level, you can vote on that theme. We give you 2 options. You guys get to vote which one it is. This week, I went with... I
saw you post the thing. I know the option.
Yeah, Ric Flair versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, Rick got the nod.
Yeah.
It makes sense. He's got a deeper history, a lot of interesting characters he probably ran into. 6 of these are real. 6 of them aren't.
Are made up Steve characters.
6 of them are shoot. 6 of them are work. Made up from my brains. And then 2 bonus questions.
Okay.
Here we go. You ready?
Sure.
Number 1.
Number 1.
David Vandermark.
Real.
Very good. No, that's fake.
Oh.
That's fake. I'm sorry. It's 5 and 7. That's fake. Vandermark was the name of his ex-wife. And David obviously is his son.
Yeah.
The Black Stinger.
Real.
Fake.
Oh, it's Black Scorpion.
Very good. Number 3. Ashley Beams.
Real.
Fake.
Man, that's 3 fakes in a row.
Yeah, but I meant it to be 1 real and 2 fakes.
Okay.
Josh Clem.
That one's got to be real.
Very good. Riki Tsuruta. Riki Tsuruta.
Can you spell Riki, please?
Riki. And then last name Tsuru.
You wouldn't have made that up real.
Fake. I took 2 names.
Yeah, that's the only way you would have made that.
Bob Bruggers.
Fake.
Real. He was on the plane with Flair whenever.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Knoxville.
What number is this? 6 or 5?
Something like that one.
Man, I'm not doing well at all.
This is number 6.
What's the name again?
Mr. Knoxville.
Real?
Very good. The man with the steel hands.
Fake.
Very good. Man, but there was a guy named the man with the hands of stone. The Stalker.
Real.
Very good. That was Barry Windham. The Lone Dog.
What number is this?
Like 9.
Fake.
No, this is 10.
Fake.
Yeah. Yes, correct. The Dirty Red.
Real.
Fake. Damn. Crash Landing.
Real.
Good. You know him?
No, he ran out of fakes. I would.
Oh, okay. All right.
I somehow climbed my way back to 6.
Good job. Hey, you never know. You might.
Yeah.
How many I have last time?
You got 8 last week. The week before that, I got 9.
All right.
I'm up by, depending how I do now. Well, I know the tally.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I don't know the tally. I know the advantage.
Okay. Bonus question number 1.
Okay.
How many times has Ric Flair won the WCW NWA the NWA WCW television title?
Television title?
Yeah, originally I was going to do the US title, but I did television title instead.
Twice.
Jesus.
I just pulled a number out of my ass.
Fucking A. Good job. Name any of the wrestlers he either won it from or lost it to.
Lex Luger.
No.
Lost my answer.
The answers were Ricky Steamboat, Rufus Freight Train Jones, and Paul Jones.
Well, I know.
And
I know of
Steamboat, Steamboat was like the only one that.
So I got 7.
You got 7.
So
Fuck.
I'm up,
on a bad day, you get 7.
I'm up 4 on the year.
You're up 4 on the year. Are we tied in terms of the numbers of?
I believe
Okay.
so.
So in other words, I would have to get like 4.
Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I got 7? Sorry, I'm up 5.
You're up 5. Okay, so in other words, the next 2 weeks it'd have to go something like 8-3.
Yeah.
Okay, for it to be even.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta dig myself out of this hole.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, you guys be sure to stick around. You dollar patrons, be sure to stick around. We got a bonus episode that's be going up. It goes up at the Patreon site, patreon.com/Steven Larson. If you guys want to check that out, of course, yeah, that's everybody $1 and up. You okay there?
A bunch of wetness right here on the table.
Oh dear,
I have my phone on.
that was your sweatness.
No, that's probably
sweating through
condensation from my cup over here.
Probably was. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. And I want to thank all you patrons out there and thank everybody for checking us out. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.